What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, man. So look, at this point, dog, it's just getting plain weird, bro. Because I don't know if y'all seen this episode of Gil's Arena, but like the like the caption says, crashing out, man, crashing out. And if you guys go check out the episode, I ain't gonna play too much of it. Y'all know how YouTube get and how people take your video down, so we ain't gonna play too much of it. But he crashing out and showing his fandom for Kobe. You know what I'm saying? But then you get online and you disrespect Kobe. Like, you didn't have to go through that, dog. Like, you didn't get to see Kobe face to face. You know what I'm saying? So during this episode, man, him and Rashad McCants, in usual fashion, they get into it whenever they start bringing up Kobe, because Gil been calling Kobe a sidekick. He been saying Kobe wasn't this and that, and putting him and T-Mac in the same breath as far as their greatness. You know what I'm saying? And I think what Gilbert is trying to do is talk about the history, but it's the how he's talking about it that's really throwing everybody off. But he was really on his Kobe, showing his love for Kobe and talking about him naming his daughters after Kobe's daughters, and where he signed his signature next to Kobe's, or whatever the case was, and how he got Kobe's rings and all of this other stuff. So to me, that sounds like you getting paid to spew this stuff online. But that's neither here nor there, man. We gonna play this short clip, and I'm gonna come back, man, and give y'all my commentary.
Fuck getting in the gym. Do you not know the history? Let me tell you the history, sir. When they was comparing him and T-Mac, right? When T-Mac beat him in the scoring title, one averaged 30, one averaged 32 at All-Star Weekend. Because I know you wasn't there, you was still probably in college, right? And All-Star Weekend, when they're having this conversation amongst men, when Kobe was like, I would have won. I had Shaq. I had Shaquille O'Neal. That's the only reason you beat me. And T-Mac is, well, I'm getting doubled and triple teamed. You're playing one-on-one when Shaq is in the game. So shit, what we talking about? You think you can stop me if Shaq is not back there? That's what the two Titans is. And we sitting like, oh shit, yeah. And then what happened? Eventually, Kobe got rid of Shaq, right? And then this is what you don't know. The very next year, when Shaq was gone, Kobe production was at 27 a game. Went from 46 to 43. Didn't make first team, made third team. Didn't make all defense like he was before. What you think they were saying in the locker room, dog? See, you said when you didn't have nobody, you was going to average about 32, 33. What happened, fam?
What's your point?
What happened? That was the question. For him to come back and do what? Average 35. First team. Scoring title. First team all defense. That's when we all shut the fuck up. There was no more talk. The king is here. That's what happened. The king is here. I told y'all when I got rid of Shaq what I was going to do. And he did it. And nobody ever questioned him again.
So this is all confusing to me, dog. Because how do you... First of all, we got to talk about the fact that that point that he just made was actually made to him by Scap Attack. If y'all don't know who Scap Attack is, I think I'm saying his name right, man. Shout out to Scap Attack. He been, kind of going on these bigger platforms and, really showing up and showing out for Kobe, you know what I'm saying, with all of the disrespect. He really doing his research, man. If you don't know who Scap Attack is, bro, go check out his videos, dog. He really doing his homework, and he's bringing up a lot of points that, unfortunately, on one end that a lot of us probably didn't even think about. But then on the other end, those points that we are making, we don't have the platform and the audience to really get those points out there. So not too long ago, him and Scap Attack was having this little battle, this little debate. And he actually pointed out, this whole thing about defense. Nobody has done what Kobe has done when it comes to averaging 35 points a game, leading the NBA in scoring, winning the scoring title, and was first team all defense with nobody back there protecting the basket. You dig? He ain't have Shaq back there protecting the basket. Nobody else can say that they did that. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to watch this because you will get on your show and talk about how great Kobe was, but then go on national television and go on these bigger platforms, the ESPNs, and sit in front of Shannon Sharp or Stephen A. and them and talk about how Kobe was robbing. And you know better than that, dog. You know, and the other part that really throws me when we start having this conversation about who did what and, you know, who did what with what, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I think that that's where the true conversation is kind of lies when you want to take away the rings. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to talk about removing the rings, but not acknowledge how weak the East was. How in the East, you can have a losing record and make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So you want to take credit away from the dude that beat the most 50-win teams? You dig? He in that West doing what he got to do in that West, where all the real competition is. We don't discuss that. You know, and like I keep saying, it's a lot of little things that they do now that if they was doing back then. Like, for example, they have the conference finals MVP. You know, Kobe might have two of those things, you know, because he destroyed San Antonio and the Kings. Kobe, you heard what they said, what Phil Jackson told Kobe. You know, that play style will work in the West. You know what I'm saying? But we need you to scale it back because we going to need the big fella in the finals. You know what I'm saying? Because the East is where we going to need, that's what we going to need Shaq. You know what I'm saying? So we need you to scale it back because Kobe said, hey, we winning. So why I gotta stop dropping 40? Oh, because, you know, the big fella, we going to lose him. You know? So Kobe been destroying the West. But the coachable player that he is, because I know we like to say Kobe not a team player. He's not coachable or whatever. The narrative has been throughout his career. But if you've played sports, dog, and you killing, you doing your thing, you know what it takes to take all of the work that you put in and dial it back. You let somebody, you know, put a cap on all of the hard work that you put in the off season, all of the wind sprints, the suicides, you know, 1,000 jump shots. You dig? Because you put that work in and you seeing the results of your work, but because the team matters, the winning aspect of what we doing matters. You're willing to take a back seat to say, okay, yeah, we want to make sure that the big fella is engaged. We want to make sure that he's involved, and we understand that in the East, that's, you know, we want to make sure Shaq is ready to go. Kobe understood that and accepted that from Phil Jackson. So these narratives is, you know, that they trying to put out there about Kobe, dog. You know, Kobe had to go through the San Antonio Spurs. You know what I'm saying? He had to deal with that in the West. The East was trash, dog. The East has been trash since after the Bulls left. Pretty much, dog. After Michael Jordan retired, the whole 2000s, bro. Most of the 2000s, you know, in the early 2010s and probably so on and so forth, dog. The East has been trash. You know, everybody want to give LeBron credit for going to as many finals and having as many final appearances. But what about the fact that you took the best player off of one team in the East? You joined another great player in the East. And then, you know what I'm saying? All three of y'all all on one team. You got top 10 players in the NBA at that time all on one team. That destroyed the East. You know, so the East was already weak, and then you combine the fact that you taking the, you know, two other top 10 players that's in the league at the time and putting them on the same team. And then my homeboy sent me a clip of Gilly asking why he choose LeBron over Kobe. And he made the statement that, LeBron ain't never stepped off the bus and had on a robbing uniform. He ain't never been robbing. Man, LeBron got outscored by Jason Terry in the NBA Finals, and he was the third leading scorer on that team. Dean Wade was the main character in the story in Miami. You dig? Because LeBron was getting shut down and getting outplayed by Jason Terry. But we somehow just gloss over that. You know what I'm saying? We just gloss over that. And the biggest proof of the West really being like that? Look at LeBron when he went to LA. The number of times he's been in a play-in or missed the playoffs. You dig? Look at the number of times he done either, compared to the East, the number of times he either missed the playoffs altogether in the Lakers uniform, or had to play in the play-in, or got bounced out, in the first round. Come on, man. But we don't want to talk about that. That has nothing to do with rings. If you want to take the rings away, cool. But let's look at it then. Look at what Kobe was able to do in the West compared to what LeBron was able to do. Anyway, man, just something for y'all to think about. I appreciate y'all stopping by. I know it's been a minute since I uploaded a video. Man, drop a comment down below in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about what I had to say, and I'll see y'all on the next video. Peace.